Hey everybody, what's going on? It's James here and wanted to sit down this evening, shoot a quick video for you. This is going to be the first video for 2023 for the channel, and I figured that why not revisit some old posts and talk about some quick tips. Not going to make a super long video, but talk about some quick tips, because one thing that I felt all through 2022, especially toward the beginning of 2022, is a lot of people were discounting my bearish viewpoints because the market had been so parabolic. They were lulled into that sense of complacency, and it's not their fault, because market mania, it infects people. And if you go look up the definition of market mania, oftentimes you don't know that you're suffering from it until it's too late, and it's almost like mass hysteria is taking effect. So when I was posting a lot of this stuff, people were not really responding to it in a positive light. They were getting frustrated with me. People were unsubscribing from my YouTube channel. People were unfollowing me on social media. And I really just think it had to do with the market conditions. But now the market conditions have changed. Obviously, we've had a very rough 2022 market-wise. I had a great year, but I know a lot of people got beat up by the market. The S&P 500 had, I believe, its worst year since 2008. The NASDAQ had one of its worst years ever. And so I think now I can go back, talk about this, and people will be a little bit more open-minded and hopefully take something away from it. So as an example, this was a chart that I posted in my Discord back in April of 2022, so about 9 months ago. And I was showing them just very basic technical analysis on on Tesla, because everybody was so gung-ho on Tesla. And a lot of the Tesla, fans were a lot like crypto fans. And anytime I tried to bring up to them that Tesla actually looked really bad from a technical analysis point of view, it didn't tend to go very well. People would tell me how Elon Musk was like the next, great hope for humanity, and he was this genius, and he was all these things. And I used to be a big Musk fan. I don't like his Twitter antics. I think it really makes him much less, attractive as far as a business individual goes. It doesn't do a lot for his public image. He's very immature, and so kind of like, eh. But I do like the fact that he's done a lot. I respect that he's an amazing entrepreneur as far as his accomplishments. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but Tesla was just horribly overvalued. So if we take a look at this chart, these are some of the things you need to put in the back of your mind, so that when you're looking at charts, what you will find is that these patterns, these conditions repeat over and over. And if you'll just react to the conditions instead of the hype, it should do well for you. So again, this is a chart from April 2022, and I was looking at two very simple things. Well, a couple things. Obviously, dwindling volume. This wasn't a huge thing for me. It's not like it was zero volume, but it was starting to dwindle. It was definitely a lot less parabolic, a lot less excitement than back here, where we had this, high buying pressure. And the other thing I saw was this, putting in a series of lower highs, which of course is never a good sign for bulls. And it wasn't just the lower highs. It was the fact that it was leaving behind these wicks, which is really a sign of all this excess supply. And then finally, we had this candle here that was, I believe this was a weekly chart, if I'm not mistaken. And it was, about a day from closing, had this really nasty wick forming on top. And so this was kind of my thing saying, might be time to look for bearish positions on Tesla. So here is that chart. Now, obviously, right here was that candle where I was saying, hey, there's excess supply here. Of course, there's that trend line with the lower highs. And so quite literally, that was the best place to short Tesla from that point in time until now. And anybody who took bearish positions out right there and is still sitting in them would be very, very happy. You can see that price was at $1,003.90, which, by the way, Tesla underwent a split. So it didn't actually drop from 1,000 down to 100. It went through a split. I think it was like a 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. Let's find that out real fast. So it's 3-to-1. So, if it was $1,003 back there, it'd be like 334-ish on this chart. So about like right there. So put that back on a weekly. So price was about right there. So, right where it closed at. That's where you would have been short or bearish on Tesla based off of some very, very simple technical analysis. And since that time, well, Tesla has dumped over 68%. So, you know, if you had a put, I'm not going to go look up the exact numbers on this, but you feel free to do so. Go look, go find out how much was a put selling for back here and how much is it worth over here. I would say puts are probably up 500-600% from there to there. You know, so somebody who was bearish could have, you know, made a huge return on Tesla versus somebody who was this moon boy type of fanatic who just refused to see logic and refused to see reason. Even if they didn't hold it all the way down, anybody who got bearish here and then just close it down here when it retested these old levels, I mean, it's still a really big drop, an immediate drop of almost 40%, and the stock market is just insane. And I want to keep these examples really simple, so I'm not going to go into anything that's super advanced because this is a short video, and I don't want to open up the door to a topic that needs a complex explanation. But here's another post from around that same time. This was April 17th, 2022. Of course, this one was on Bitcoin. You can see I was showing this volume profile with this gap in the volume profile, and I was showing this head and shoulders with, you know, the potential bear flag, and the breakdown target was around 12,000. So, you know, I know a lot of people now are saying, oh, 12,000, but they weren't saying it 9 months ago. 9 months ago, a lot of those same people were saying 100,000, 200,000, etc. And, you know, it's easy to jump on the bandwagon late after Bitcoin's fallen 75% or 70%, whatever it is. It was much more difficult to go against the crowd and against the grain and really stick to the logic and say, hey, this is what the technical analysis is showing. And I probably don't need to pull the Bitcoin chart. I think everybody knows what happened, but we'll do it for giggles. So that was a 3-day Bitcoin chart. And we can see that if we draw that up, right, there's the move down, there's the pullback on the flag, and here's the target down around this area. Then, of course, if you put the volume profile on there, you're going to get something like this. And suddenly, that gap that existed, where was that gap at? So it's from around 30,000 down to about 10,000 or so. Hey, look at that. See how a bunch of that gap is being filled in right there? That's what happens in markets. Those inefficiencies eventually, not always, but more often than not, those inefficiencies, they get filled. So now there's one up here that needs to be filled, and there's still this one down here that needs to be taken care of. And this is, you know, this volume profile is going back to the bottom in 2018. If you go back further, the volume profile will change, as you can see. So this is Coinbase. So if you go all the way back in time, there's actually a big inefficiency down around 3,000. And then if you get below that, it starts getting kind of squirrely. Okay, but the point of control in Bitcoin is down around $1,500, and you know, just these are lessons to keep in mind for the future. Basically, all through this area, this was all open air. There was really no support being built through that zone, and this is a little micro level of support. Really, the first major level of support is down here, which is why I was always expecting or suspecting. I don't like the word expect because you can't really expect anything, right? You can suspect the market is going to do something, but the market's full of surprises. What I suspected, the market would go back down to at least this ledge here. And then if the stock market gets really nasty and has this prolonged bear market, like say the dot-com bubble, then I suspect we'll go down here. And then if it really gets squirrely, we may have to start talking about some other levels below that. But, you know, I don't know. I think we kind of cross that bridge if we come to it. If, not when. I don't know if we come to it or not. We go take a look at Binance, where a lot of the spot trading is happening these days. You know, it's whole history here. There you go, right? Point of control is up around 20,000 on that chart. And you have this inefficiency from around 11,000 up to about 16 or so. So I look for this to get filled in at some point. Just really basic stuff. You know, basic stuff. And then here's that parabola. And these are all old charts. I haven't looked at many of these charts in a long time because this is my day trading saved, you know, profile or whatever you want to call it in trading view. I have charts on Bitcoin that I look at on a regular basis, but these are old mocked up charts. So that was that parabola. It broke. Anytime a parabola breaks, standard rule is, you know, it should retrace 80%. Doesn't mean it will. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed. Just that's the general rule of thumb is 80%. And if you look, 80%, that'd be around 15,996. Where did it retrace to? See that? 80% rule. So just a few quick tips to keep in mind. I'll go ahead and wrap the video up there. Make sure you stop now and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment. This is James with Crypto Common Sense reminding you I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. Nothing in the video is financial advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor for making any type of investment in cryptocurrency, the stock market, precious metals, forex, or any other tradable asset. Make sure to trade safe. I'll talk to you soon.